Howdy guys, Pi here from Pieonthetrail. On this channel we talk about ultralight backpacking, through hiking and all things gear related. This video is video number 4 in my food series, and I'm going to break down 5 of my favourite dinner recipes for backpacking. Video number 1 covered some key concepts of backpacking food as well as the breakfasts I eat on trail. Video number 2 was all the snacks I eat on trail, and video number 3 was all the lunches that I eat on trail. So I recommend that you go check out those first 3 videos because it gives this one a little bit more context. In the first 3 videos I mentioned that I want my food on trail to be super easy to prepare and quick to eat. With dinner though, I don't mind taking a little bit more time because the day's hiking's already finished, so I will sit down with the guys, chat, hang out a little bit before climbing into the sleeping bag and getting some sleep. Ramen noodles are a definite thru-hiker favourite. They're lightweight, they're cheap and they taste pretty good. One of my favourite trail dinners is just 2 packets of ramen noodles mixed with a pouch of tuna and possibly some olive oil or coconut oil if I have some. My good buddy Cheesebeard introduced me to mac and cheese out on the trail. At first I thought it was too heavy and not worth its weight, but I'm definitely a convert. It does take a little bit of extra cooking time compared to some of the stuff here. You do need to boil the noodles for a little while, which is fine. And it is a little bit heavier than some of the other options we've got here, but it is very tasty and satisfying on trail. Obviously I repackage the mac and cheese into a Ziploc bag before leaving town. Then I boil up my water, and once it's at a boil, I'll add in the noodles, let them cook for a few minutes or so, and then I'll put the pot back inside the pot koozie, put the lid on, and just let it rehydrate naturally by itself. Once the noodles are nice and soft, I'll add in the cheese packet, and if I have it and if I can kind of allocate enough, I'll add in some real cheddar cheese. That makes a big difference, adds a lot of flavour and a lot of texture to the meal. Again, if I've got it, I'll add in some tuna, possibly add in a chicken packet if I can find them. Yeah, mac and cheese is a real good trail dinner. So then another great trail dinner option is freeze-dried backpacking meals. If you were to eat those kind of meals every night on a through hike, it would be very expensive. But as a treat for every couple of sections, it's a very nice thing to have. With freeze-dried meals, you're able to do a lot of things that you can't do with the more DIY style backpacking food. For example, dehydrated meats, dehydrated veggies, and you're just able to have a little bit more variety. One of my favourite companies is Paleo Meals to Go. In real kind of home life, I do try and kind of eat low carb and paleo. It's pretty difficult to eat that way out on trail, but with Paleo Meals to Go it makes it so I'm not eating quite so much junk out on the trail. This is one of my particular favourites, the Caldera chicken curry. They have a bunch of different flavours. Super self-explanatory. Rip the top off, add in boiling water, seal it up again, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes and you're ready to go. They are kind of more expensive, but they're super tasty and very convenient. A very popular trail dinner is to heat up some couscous. Couscous rehydrates almost immediately, and this is a great one if you want to do cold soaking. What I like to do is get some trail mix with some raisins or some dried fruit in, mix up a batch of couscous and mix in some trail mix, possibly with some olive oil or coconut oil if I have it. That's pretty satisfying. I do get bored of couscous quite easily, but it's very cheap and very filling. Another really cheap backpacking food is instant mashed potatoes. A lot of through hikers will carry a bag like this of instant mashed potatoes. That's enough for about a meal and a half right there. What I actually really like to do is boil some water in my pot and then add in some beef jerky while it's still boiling. Once the water comes to a boil, I just add in enough mashed potato mix to make it thick enough to how I like it, and then I have a really nice hydrated beef jerky, mashed potato kind of stew thing going on. Obviously the beef jerky gives some flavour to the water, the jerky becomes a little bit more tender, and mixed with the mashed potatoes it's a really satisfying trail meal. So then those are the kind of the backpacking meals I generally sort of go for. There's a few add-ons that I want to just touch on briefly. I did mention olive oil and coconut oil. Carrying oil is a little bit heavy, but it adds a lot of taste, texture and calories to your meal. So carrying a small bottle that you can refill with olive oil is great. Or they do now sell individual packets of coconut oil, so you can squeeze one of those into pretty much any of the meals here and it's going to add a lot of calories and a lot of texture. Tuna packets is another classic add-on for thru hikers. It adds in a lot of flavour and of course a lot of protein. It is actually now quite easy in the US to find similar packets to this of chicken. It's a bit heavier because there's water inside the packet, but if you're getting sick of tuna out on the trail, you can try those chicken packets. They're hard to find here in Europe, but yeah, adding in a pouch of tuna or chicken like this is a great way to add in some protein and add in some flavour. In the earlier videos I already mentioned peanut butter, but I need to mention it again because it's a super versatile food item to have out on the trail. Lots of calories, lots of protein, lots of fat, and mixing a big spoonful of peanut butter inside your ramen noodles makes for a really satisfying dinner. I already touched on the beef jerky, but adding that into any one of these meals here will give you a good hit of extra protein, as well as adding in quite a bit of flavour. I also mentioned in the other videos about carrying cheddar cheese with me on trail. Adding a little bit of real cheese into mac and cheese is a really good touch. And then just a couple of condiments out on the trail. Having hot sauce with you is really nice. It goes with anything you see on the table here. Obviously I'm not going to be carrying this large glass bottle, but if you carry out a few of the individual small packets that you can get from restaurants, that will make your meal much tastier and adds a little bit of spice. Another thing I'll do is pack out a seasoning packet like this, so if one of the meals here is a little bit bland or needs a little bit of extra salt, I can add in some taco seasoning or something similar and it gives it a little bit more flavour. So those are some of my meals that I like to eat out on trail. Usually what I'll do once I've had my dinner, I'll sit down and hang out chatting with the guys. I'll usually hold back a little bit of chocolate and have a dessert before heading into bed. Thanks for checking out this video. This is the final video in my 4-video series all about through hiking food. If you haven't caught the rest of the videos, you can click right here to head over to the playlist and catch all the other videos in the series. If you haven't done it already, consider subscribing for more through hiking and ultralight backpacking goodness. I'll catch you in the next one.